It was a cool spring morning on April 28, 1997. The air in Thousand Oaks, California, smelled like new pavement and fresh hope. Banks opened. People commuted. Life moved forward quietly. At 10:15 a.m., two men disguised as construction workers crossed into Western Financial Bank. They wore reflective vests, hard hats, yellow cloth jackets, and nylon masks. They carried more than just tools of deception. They carried violence. Inside, 39-year-old Monica Lynn Leach stood behind the counter. She had arrived as usual. She greeted customers. She made change. She handled deposits. She did her job with the warmth and care her family and friends had come to expect. 2 months earlier, she had transferred to this branch, hoping for a safer environment, closer to home in Camarillo. Her husband, Floyd, and her children believed this new job would bring peace. Instead, it brought tragedy. The two masked men barked orders. They pushed employees, 3 tellers and a manager, into a vault room. They forced them to open the safe. They handcuffed 2 of them, including Monica. Still calm, still cooperating, Monica obeyed. She did what she was told. She even opened the safe. Yet, in that moment when she posed no threat, when protocol was followed, one of the robbers raised a gun and fired. The bullet entered the back of her head. Execution style. Monica collapsed. Her life ended where she worked, where she served. They fled with about $11,000. After escaping through the bank, the robbers jumped into a 1994 Ford Explorer, painted a different color to mislead, and drove off. Not far away, they crashed. The SUV was recovered by police, but the masked men vanished into shadows. Witnesses were shaken. Descriptions were fragmented, conflicting. A license plate reported as beginning with 3T turned out unreliable. The crash site yielded few clues beyond the wrecked vehicle, but investigators pored over every detail. Monica's family was rocked. The community was stunned. Thousand Oaks had long been considered a quiet, safe place. A bank robbery turned fatal, especially one so brazen and cold, felt like a betrayal. Monica Lynn Leach was a mother of children, a daughter, a wife. She had been with the bank for 20 years. This Western Financial branch was just new. Her life was ordinary in many senses, but deeply important to those around her. From the beginning, investigators gathered the evidence they could. The handcuffs, items left at the scene, witness statements, composite sketches of the 2 suspects, photos of the crashed Explorer, bank security stills. Despite the crash, despite recovery of the vehicle, the suspects remained elusive. Witnesses gave only partial memories. Height estimates, skin tone, voice muffled by masks, but nothing firm. No arrests, no charges. The case slowly cooled, then essentially froze. Over the years, forensic science advanced. What was once impossible became possible. Trace DNA, skin cells, tiny residual particles, once too weak to analyze reliably, now could be amplified. New techniques allowed investigators to revisit old evidence with fresh hope. In 2021, Monica's case was reopened by Ventura County's Cold Case Unit. The items from the crime scene were re-examined in the lab. Handcuffs, items believed to have been handled by the robbers, preserved evidence that had for decades been stored. With modern tools, forensic scientists isolated a DNA profile. The kind that was once lost in the noise now stood out clearly enough to compare against databases. On March 9, 2023, authorities arrested Kevin Ray James, then 55, of San Bernardino. He was charged with first-degree murder, robbery, and using a firearm. The district attorney's office announced that DNA from an item believed left by a suspect at the crime scene was matched to him. When asked for the details of how the DNA was obtained, prosecutors said more evidence will be revealed in court. James remains in custody without bail. Yet the story doesn't end there. A second suspect remains at large. There are still pieces of the puzzle that don't fit. Investigators believe there were 2 men. Only one has been identified and charged. Ventura County authorities continue to ask for help. A $30,000 reward from the FBI and more local rewards are being offered for information that leads to the second man. Who was the second robber? What role did he play? Was he the one who shot Monica or only aided? Did he leave behind DNA? Did any witness get a good enough look to remember him? These are questions still unanswered. Public reaction has been steeped in grief and frustration. Floyd Leach, Monica's husband, said the family has lived with pain for more than 2 decades. He said the word closure feels hollow. Grief is something you live with, he told reporters. The family released statements expressing gratitude that someone had accepted responsibility. Still, even a plea doesn't heal all wounds. Even with consequences, the days lost, the longing, the memories that never got made, those are beyond sentencing. As Monica's case finally moves toward legal conclusion, we are left to ask, what is justice when time has stretched so thin? Is it enough that one person is held accountable? Or do we owe it to Monica, to her kids, to her community, to fully uncover every truth, however late? How do we ensure that other victims don't become cold cases, but living stories of restoration? Monica's life was ordinary in many ways. Bank teller, mother, wife, neighbor. But ordinary lives deserve protection. They deserve to matter. The breakthrough that caught Kevin Ray James shows that science can catch up with injustice, even decades later. But the cost is always high. He thanked investigators but expressed sorrow. Grandchildren who will never know their grandmother, memories that exist only in photos and stories. The community's response also included memorials, church gatherings, prayers. Many looked inward, asking, can something so violent happen to someone so ordinary? How do we protect workers who face risk even in safe neighborhoods? And what does it say when someone can be shot despite following every instruction? For law enforcement, the case has become an emblem of persistence. Sheriff Jim Freihoff, Ventura County's Major Crimes Unit, and the Cold Case Unit repeatedly said they did not abandon Monica's case. When new forensic methods seemed promising, they revisited old leads. They re-interviewed witnesses, stoked public interest, re-offered rewards. The arrest of James was a vindication of years of tedious cold case work. Still, questions remain, murky and gnawing. Why did Monica have to die? She complied. She opened the safe. She posed no danger. At what moment did the robbers decide she would be silenced? Was it fear, panic, cruelty, or something else entirely? Witnesses say they believe the suspects may have been gang-affiliated. One report says James had gang ties. But the motives beyond robbery remain vague. Was there something personal, something beyond money? Legal and scientific challenges are also in play. Evidence is old. Time degrades memory, degrades physical materials. DNA, though powerful, is subject to contamination, to degradation. Chain of custody, proper storage, accurate documentation, all must be airtight in court. Defense attorneys may challenge the evidence. The second suspect's absence from arrest also means the narrative remains incomplete in the eyes of many. In May 2025, Kevin Ray James pleaded guilty to Monica Leach's murder. Under the plea, he will be sentenced to 19 years to life in state prison. For Monica's family, it was a final turning point. The family released statements expressing gratitude that someone had accepted responsibility. Still, even a plea doesn't heal all wounds. Even with consequences, the days lost, the longing, the memories that never got made, those are beyond sentencing. As Monica's case finally moves toward legal conclusion, we are left to ask, what is justice when time has stretched so thin? Is it enough that one person is held accountable, or do we owe it to Monica, to her kids, to her community, to fully uncover every truth, however late? How do we ensure that other victims don't become cold cases, but living stories of restoration? Monica's life was ordinary in many ways. Bank teller, mother, wife, neighbor. But ordinary lives deserve protection. They deserve to matter. The breakthrough that caught Kevin Ray James shows that science can catch up with injustice, even decades later. But the cost is always high. The truth arrived slowly. And once it arrived, it did not erase what was lost, but it illuminated it. And perhaps, in that illumination, there is a kind of justice after all.